I'm John and Marion Douglas. I was born in Bentonville in what, until just a couple of years ago, is City Hall in 1936, July 36. I've been here then ever since, with the exception of the first 3 years that we were out of college. We lived in Ponca City, Oklahoma, but moved back here in '64, which was, of course, the first time Emily had lived here.
My name is Emily Keturah Owen Douglas. I was born in Crossett, Arkansas, and my name comes from Emily. Was my father's mother's name, and Keturah was my mother's middle name. And I mentioned Keturah because it was one of Abraham's, concubines. Mm-hmm. He may have married her later, I don't know. But anyway, it's in Genesis. And of course, I had not lived here before we moved here in '64.
I was baptized when I was about 6 months old, is what Mother told me. And so I grew up in the church. In 1954, when they started worshiping there, was just about a month before I graduated high school.
Kind of like his family. His mother was Baptist to start with. I was a Baptist. I was raised a very firm Baptist. And so when we got married, John didn't want to be baptized again. And so...
Underwater.
And so we started going to the Methodist Church in Ponca City, Oklahoma, which is where we lived when we first married. And I am so happy to be a Methodist. I'm very glad that we made that decision, or I made that decision. And so when we moved here, of course, we joined FUMC.
My mother was working in the nursery. I don't know, she might have been working there before I was born, but I'm not aware of that. But she stayed there for several years. Volunteer job as Sunday school secretary apparently became open. He took that job then, and she did that until she stayed with it until she was in her 90s. We were, of course, in the church and very active for all the years. My dad he served in all the offices of the church at various
But he was
times,
an usher.
But when the day before he died, he died on a Monday. He was an usher back there on Sunday. He greeted everybody that came in the church, and he knew them all. He also taught a Sunday school class that was called a young adult Sunday school class. When it started, it was. By the time he died, he was still teaching it, and he was 61, and probably most of the people in there were in their 50s and 60s. And my mother continued as the church secretary until she was about 92, I think. Mm-hmm. Yes, they both, served the church from the time they were married, totally. I mean, it was just an integral part of their lives, and it has been for us too, really. 59 years, I guess, that we've been back here. I like the idea, and I guess this was Kurt that brought this, and I like being known as the spiritual center of downtown Bentonville.
Continuing from there, JJ started, and Michelle has continued this outreach, this really definite feeling of outreach to all people.